Well, good morning. Well, it's a good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. I know the calendar Chinese New Year has not quite started yet, but this is our first Feng Shui Connect January meeting. So welcome, everyone. Those who don't know, my name is Ayalita Lito. I'm a Feng Shui practitioner, classically trained for more than 20 years, been practicing, living the arts, consulting, not only in the Bay Area, but also worldwide. My projects has expanded East Coast, West Coast, as well into overseas, which is very, very exciting. We have also started a new program for supporting the Bhutanese little monks since last year. It's been extremely successful and supportive, and I'm very grateful for many of you who have assisted, especially last year, finishing the building in the Bhutan and giving the shelter in this very extremely cold winter in Bhutan, that there is a roof and the second floor is completely built. And we also have provided the food on a monthly basis. There's some more news to it that our friend, my brother, my spiritual brother, our protector, somebody who is a main connection in Bhutan, Sanjay Dorje, he is expecting to be a dad this coming month. So which is super exciting. And I think this is in my belief, it is our teacher Ming to be born. So I will keep you with the information and news accordingly, but that's a kind of on a personal note. The other thing is that just the last Saturday, we did the very first class on behalf of the Feng International Feng Shui Academy, that is determined to be our main kind of arm or chapter for me to divide between the consultations and teaching. So our program of teaching Feng Shui and anything related to mantic arts is going to be provided through Feng International Feng Shui Academy. So keep your eyes on to all the news and updates. And there are the first teaching on the 9-star key was presented by Robert Sachs. It was last Saturday, and the recording will be available as well for purchase or just to rent to see and hear what's about. Well, and today is all about how do we transition from the year of the ox, the year of the very kind of, to some extent, strong, kind of quiet, in a sense, very thorough year into the year of a tiger. Okay, well, I'm going to share my screen and we shall begin. As you know, I'm a monkey. I cannot pass without a little kind of a joke or something to just. So, just a couple of weeks ago, my daughter Aviana brought a joke book. So, and this is actually a true copy of what she was asking. She was asking me, "What do you get when you cross a snowman and a tiger?" Anyone? Maybe you can answer in the chat. If you stay long enough, I might give you the answer. But it's a very cute answer to that. Anyone want to give a high five? Give a try? No one? Come on, some creativity. How about a frostbite? That was at least her answer. So the new year of the very brave, competitive, confident and persuasive and honest tiger, it's gonna, based on the lunar calendar, will begin on February 1st. And it's gonna last till January 21st of 2023. So we are still are in the transition. We still are not quite letting go the year of ox. And believe it or not, this transition is going to be way, way slower than usual. So towards the second part of this presentation, I'm going to talk more in detail about the young water tiger. The overall presentation on about water tiger year, like animal, each individual animal signs, will be presented in February at the Feng Shui Connect. It's only because I have quite a few public speaking arrangements through the other venues, and not to cross-reference and reveal the information that I'm sharing. For that, I'm holding my personal presentation open to the public after the 15th of January, after the 15th of February. So I'll keep you posted on this update. Okay, so Feng Shui Connect. So this is our success story that last Saturday, the 9-star key first introduction class with Robert Sachs took place. And we had quite a few new students, and then you can see also that Robert, he is preparing the teachings for the level 1 and level 2 of this very different but very useful system, which correlates in addition to Chinese astrology as well as Feng Shui. So very strongly, it was a fun class. All right, what's today? So we're going to talk about lucky directions, how to set up assault cures, money envelopes. This year, their locations for all of that is at different areas. Here we go. Let's have a look at the flying star chart and the Feng Shui for the 2022. As you always know, the Feng Shui changes every year. And of course, the biggest pivot, biggest change what we're going to experience, we're going to be an upcoming year of a dragon in 2024. We're going to be completely emerging into the period 9 based on the some of the flying star systems on the Feng Shui systems. So this particular year, the Gua of the year is number 5. 5 as a center, sits in the center, and we almost like repeating every single alignment of the stars, we're repeating its own they are back in their own place. What does it mean? Typically when we have a center, the 5, the star 5 is in the center, it's going to require a lot of reset and grounding. We're resetting not just because it's a new year, but it's just a very more concise, more precise reset. So your accumulative, all the accumulative kind of purging and reset events that you did adopt in 2020, the year of a rat, and then implemented or crystallized or kind of put it in a more like a structural way during the year of ox. This particular year, year of a tiger, there's no room for mistake. There has to be provided a very strong yes and very strong no. Tiger has stripes, right? There's no in between. Either there's a tiger is a full speed forward, or could be also stand back and lazy. So there's a lot of dynamic into the extremes. In addition to that, this particular year also has a deeper water element to it, because the water tiger, it's not just like 12 years ago, it was a battle tiger, which required extreme kind of fist, strong, almost like warrior type. A lot of invasions, practically speaking, took place. This particular year, if we compare, water element with it, this gives a little bit more hopefully diplomatic aspect. Like water is a conversation, it's the water is the expressed in a sense of some sort of flexibility, but because it's a young water, it could be also overwhelming amount of information, overwhelming transpiring information into the kind of settling in the space, in a place. So speaking of the Feng Shui, because of that, when we revisit our home, and those who have been my clients, I would like, and if you follow your charts, I would like you to pay a very close attention what is happening, how things are transitioning right in the center of your property, right in the center of your home. So if there's areas and pockets that are accumulating things, or if you need to declutter, or you need to kind of simplify, I would highly recommend to use this time before the February 1st and get that done. The other area of kind of to pay attention would be in the southwest. That's where the star 2 resides. So from the Feng Shui perspective, these are the at least two main areas, center and southwest. Southwest also correlates to the female chi or mother. So you could, can be more protective of the elder women in the household. So just to kind of have a more conscientious, more cautious, kind of setup to just to assist them. So for salt cure setup in a north, I would say there's no need a salt cure, but that is the direction in an area of North 1, North 2, and North 3 that is not recommended any major contract work or any major disturbance, like with the remodel, etc. So kind of keeping that area, again, reset, set up, fluctuate, flows well, and gives you an opportunity to just to kind of maintain it, but not overuse it. So not disturbing it, that direction. How do you sell? So those who don't know how to set up the salt cures, I have a step-by-step process. Main thing is always, so what we're trying to do, we're trying to address the two of the stars, star 2 and star 5. And that's that we use the metal chi to drain energy of negative earthy. But again, those who know me, I'm just staying always in a more positive. What are we really doing? We're creating the awareness. We're creating the awareness where we're giving an opportunity to, we're giving the opportunity to, hold on one second. I have so we're giving the opportunity to my son's just left. So so giving the opportunity for the stars 2 and 5 to set the, I'll call it cure, but it's really is to set up your intention or intention to mediate or to prevent anything that potentially negative could be coming from the external environment. It's very simply done. So what all you need to do is to have a 1 silver coin. I usually use the quarter. You need 6 copper coins that represents number 6 as a metal chi. You're also setting up in the circle. 2 glass jars because we have 2 locations. Sea salt, regular salt. So you don't have to be a gourmet salt, but the sea salt will be the best. And the water. So when identifying those, this was southeast and north directions where in 2021, the clients who are following me, I want to make sure that you discard the salt cures of the last year on the February 3rd. So all you need to do, gently, if you can take a pictures, if there's any reactions taking place, I always love to collect those images. So please email it to me. But otherwise, where you might, if you forgot where you placed it last year, you will be finding your last year jars in southeast and in north directions. Okay. Okay. So what is going on? So how do we do setup? So when you have your empty jar, you take the quarter, put it on the very bottom center. Then you fill it up with the salt. Then you place when you place the 6 coins in a kind of imaginative circle, And you have a water. So while you're pouring the water, your intent, you can have a prayer, you can have, you just can simply ask the universe or divine or God or protecting symbolically to protect you from any invasive or negative qualities of energy qualities that might be coming from those directions. And you close the jar. I know there's some practices that are keep the jars open, but my practice has it's more about intention. It's not about exactly it's how you exactly do it. There's no exact written rule. It's symbolism that you correlate to and empower this setup. Okay. So lucky directions, there's also, well, we have in Northeast this year, where we practice, when 8 is in the Northeast this year, we situate or set up the red envelope tradition. You use the 8 envelopes and you situate them in a sequence or replicating the trigram of Li, or fire chi. Okay, so if you can see in this image, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're creating the yang line, yin line, and yang line accordingly. Again, this is almost like you're paying forward. You're giving your offerings towards the year. You don't keep this money. This is definitely kind of investment towards the next year, 2022. And it's a fun event. I personally love to distribute the envelopes to my kids and to their friends. And it's kind of a game in one hand, but it also sometimes, with my intention, when I start distributing the envelopes, my intention sometimes is just very random. If I see somebody walking with a dog and I feel like, just giving a gift. It's almost like the sharing that's abundantly you don't have. You practice like not having attachment. You don't think about it, what's in the envelope. You already have invested that 12 months prior to that. So it's a beautiful practice of cultivating abundance and also cultivating something that's a quality of sharing, of qualities of, kind of giving without no expectations to return anything kind of not receiving anything back. It's okay. So that's a true giving. This is again why we correlate to the Li, trigram Li. It's a consuming energy. It's also out of the 5 Chinese elements, it represents the trigram 3, which is fire. Okay. Well, we are right in transition we're still in the year of our ox, and until the February 1st. And those who follow me remember the year of the 2020 and 2021, it should be treated like one complete 24-month event. They went alignment in the hand to hand. The qualities of the rat, a survival and like resetting, kind of destroying everything and resetting, building up to absolutely new. This is what we got experiencing through worldwide of the COVID. Definitely transpired a lot of traditional way or old, how it was in the past. The ox was coming with more like structure, with the like imprinting and selecting specific traditions and specific ways of what exactly needs to be done. What is something that's going to be followed through and continuous on a long term. How that represents is when we adjusting, as you know, Feng Shui by definition is adaptation. And how do we really allow ourselves to fulfill the energetical patterns of this particular year? So Ox was to examine what serves you, what helps you, what's going to last for a long, long time. Sometimes it's our habits, sometimes our intentions, sometimes it was, what we like to do or what we don't like to do, something not repeating the unhealthy patterns. So ox was to reset something that was maybe embodied also from the traditions, from your ancestry. The year of the tiger is definitely something, was more motivation, was more bravery, confidence, persuasiveness, and honesty. So when we combine what is expected from us is exactly these qualities. These qualities will be available to all of us universally: the brave, competitive, confident, persuasive, and honest. So nothing that's not new. We have experiencing these energies 60 years ago, exactly the same was the young water tiger, also with some modifications every 12 years cycles. So a lot of things going to be coming under the big waters, big of a change. At the moment, because we are still in transition, and because it is the year of an ox, we might not even feel the year of a tiger has kind of manifested or landed. What happens in a kind of ox's mind, or year of an ox, is they don't feel that the new year has begun. There is definitely a delay in a transition, especially during the month of February and March, and possibly into the April. There might not be need for you to really push and rush your new yearly resolutions and things that you plan to do. There's maybe I noticed that there's a little bit of them not as strong energetically, this viewpoint of looking into the new year in itself. So be mindful about that. What I also learned, which was beautiful, beautiful symbolism of the upcoming year of a tiger, was about its signage, like how it's in calligraphy is written. We all used to say the tiger is like a king of the jungle, and auspice is in the writing right in a third eye area of the symbol of the tiger. Sometimes the lines would create that calligraphy, like kind of the seal. Again, having those who have kids and watch the Lion King, remember how the little cub was initiated with its mark on a forehead. So you can almost like think about that correlative way of the water tiger. Water tiger year, it's going to be definitely something about, I'm going to stop sharing for a second just to have a more, if metal tiger year was more about precision and more like a war, forceful in a sense of the dividing the territories, and in a very kind of military sense. The year of a water tiger is, we have to be very mindful about our spiritual conduct, our own spiritual path, because not as much your physical kind of appearance, physical body, but your spirit body and your energy body is going to be engaged or put on a position of the accountability. So this year, whatever religion or whatever spirituality practice you maintain for yourself, for your own body, mind, and spirit, you want to make sure that that is cultivated. So change the lighting a little bit better. It's cultivated to, sorry. See the monkey. I mean, the monkey never sits still. It's myself, right? So with the water water element in its kind of presence, in the big water element in its presence, it takes a lot of our unknown, which goes under the depth of our spiritual realm, of our energetical realm. So a lot of questions maybe will be rise, and more conduct questions will be rise to looking into a big leaders of the world, leaders of the big companies, government officials, as somebody who is very important, because not exactly us as an individual, as a layman, will interfere or make a big difference, but these like worldly decision makers gonna impact quite a bit. So their conduct, when you are openly looking in this, what is their like etiquette, what is their ethics, that's going to be a test. So however you analyze, whoever you follow, just be open-minded. Probably not involving yourself in any gossip or talks, especially in the spring, will be welcome. Hold back your thought at this point, more contemplate, almost go into that meditative state rather than waste your chi by explicitly, conflicting or proving or, being so deliberately, strong, because tiger is going to see all that. Ox right now is a little ignorant, because ox does not like the change and doesn't even have a sense that the year is coming to the end. It's just like, for ox, it's like what? A new year? The tiger? What is that? Right? So it's just not gonna really give the role of letting go, and especially until beginning of April. Okay. And then the water tiger is just as a cub, as a spring element. We also want to be very mindful what's happening in the spring. You don't want to be extend yourselves, because what happens when we snap the sprout, we snapping the potential that that needs to be actually cultivated, right? So if you are in a position of starting something new for yourselves, or something to revisit anything that feeds your spiritual body, your energy body, I would prioritize, because anything that was related to your kind of physical manifestation, either through feng shui or through land, that should have been taken care during the year of 2020 and 2021. Okay. So I will give you kind of tease you. I did started my collection of my notes and talking about each of the animal signs. But I want to also remind you, those who do come on a yearly basis to consult with me. So I have opened the Chinese astrology readings for new clients, as well as existing clients. And that information to sign up is on my website under services. And those who are attending the call, and only for those who are attending the call, you also could have a discount code for signing up, and it's a Tiger 2022. So text me if something doesn't work. It's all capitals, so it's a key sensitive. So, but when you are ready to sign up, text me and I will double share the code. Okay. So regarding I'll go quickly through the 12 animals, but it's going to be very, very brief. So as we know, the year usually, the cycle of the 12 animals usually start with the rat. And by nature, rats are, unstoppable. So something that happened in 2020 is also that's embodied. It's just gonna be there. Okay. Unstoppable rat characteristics is also allows to be staying under the radar, because like my teacher Ming says, tigers don't eat mice. Okay, so their energy to chase to chase any of kind of smaller creatures, it's not in their kind of they don't want to waste the chi. It's just like, oh, no point, right? So what will be good for rats this year? You know that rats could be under a tremendous amount of stress, but interesting thing that no matter what, the rats, either they are under the stress or they're not under the stress, they still get things done the same way. So staying like a low key, low under the radar, like almost like crouching tigers, is recommended for the rats. If you do decide to want to travel, the same thing like for the monkeys, it's really good year to explore, to be places, go places, visit places, and especially the areas when you've never been before. So that's interesting that that's the one way, especially if you go to the countries when you can't even speak the language, it's even better. So it's like you don't get involved, your heart and mind does not get involved in any of the little talks. So it's almost like you becoming a true observer. For the ox, is just oxes just don't, because they are not because they're ignorant, but because they're so reluctant to change, they might not even show that the year is really leaving, because ox is usually a very strong-willed workaholic, keep going, keep going, keep going. There's never end of any work, right? They're less emotional in any way. And especially if you're observing or expecting oxes to express their emotions, and especially in a year of a water tiger, it's almost like limited or none to it. What's good for ox is to receive advice from their close friends and family. One thing that we can be a better communicators, that's for sure. That energy is available to all of us, and becomes very important how we communicate, how honest we are, how precise we are, so how consistent we are. So that's why I also cannot stop not to show up on my Feng Shui Connect. Is there's something that is in the motion as a tradition for me to connect with all of you and be available, be at service at all times. So, for oxes this year, they might not notice the big shift, okay, if the plan has been placed on a consistent basis. So the routine, it's like working and it's not adding anything new. So tigers. So I know a lot of tigers would say that when there is a year of their own animal sign, that's not always as good as challenge. But at this, believe it or not, this year, even the monkey sign and diametrics, monkeys are more auspicious and resetting their challenges in a bigger scale than even tigers do. If you're born in a year of a tiger or hour of tiger, those who don't know, the hour of the tiger, we're experiencing every single morning from 1 a.m. from 1 to 3 a.m. is the tiger hour. Is that right? I just flashed back. So the rat, 1 to 3, 3 to 5 is the tiger hour. And so when we're experiencing the morning hour, this also is after our deep sleep, after our dream state. So this particular year is really welcomes any meditations, any kind of mindfulness and spirituality, cultivation is very welcomed to it. So postponing. Oh, postponement is one of the suggestions, not only for tigers this spring, but also for all the other 12 animals, just to begin starting the year. Okay, the postponement, that was important. After tiger is the rabbit. So okay, the rabbits are, as you know, they recover extremely well when they hide. They follow their intuition. They already want to calculate their steps, 7 steps in advance, which allows us to, kind of be, again, also under the radar, because the bigger year and bigger opportunities where the rabbits, like rabbit year manifestation, will be in a following year, 2023. So a lot of things on a reflective way. Like last night there was full moon. You can probably see the image of the usually like old Taoist image, how that represents a rabbit living on the moon, having and creating its own immortal elixir because of the shape, the sideways, it's over, and it just mixing and mixing. So maybe when you look at the full moon tonight, you might see the image again. Lay low, don't reinvent yourself. That's the most important part. Like if I have to summarize, for if you have a rabbit in your birth hour or birth year, that will be very important. So dragons, powerful. So nothing really impacts dragons, right? So, and especially when you think about 2024, it will be the following year of a dragon after the rabbit. So the dragons commonly are working. Dragons and tigers have so much in common, and I would say from the spiritual realm. So tigers are like dragons of the sky. Okay, because only animals really that could fly are dragons, and so that's the embodiment of spiritual notion, like what is where they stand. It's going to be becoming more profound what we cultivate. Let's say for dragons this year will be very important to not only cultivate their practices, but also kind of crystallize what is the doctrine, what are they following, and to kind of almost like be in a serious note, cut and sort, their spiritual teachers or doctrines that they follow. It will be very important, just like where you really stand. And this is when we're looking at our political leaders, we're looking at the government leaders, we're looking at the big company influencers worldwide. So if we have some intake or insight on their perspective and who they are, not only externally, but also internally, this could be a very good sign for us to be better prepared, not to be under the shock, because the tiger can really leave an attack and with no warning. So dragons are still using the power of negotiation, because it's the expressing, and the water chi is definitely helping with that. So water element in expressing notion and avoiding negativity. So that's another way, is because of the powerful source, to avoiding and to eliminating that maybe kind of dirty waters will be recommended. That's also adds the success to the dragons, and especially preparing their path to 2024. Speaking of snakes, so the introvert and kind of really, it's another smart behind the screen. that's kind of a short. It could come with a phrase like, "I cannot believe it did it again," or "I cannot believe this happened. I told you so." These are all kind of a snake type comments that you might kind of, they can even give you astrological advice. It almost comes to the point during the year of a tiger. Snakes have so much wisdom internally that if they do decide to go on a retreat, on a spiritual retreat, that is one of the best things to do during the year of a tiger. Because the I told you so, it's going to be way stronger. Because when they have also when you kind of have that vision, let's say if I sit in a meditative state and my vision is profound, when you crystallize your answer, what you want to do, it is, it's kind of when the answers, or when the demeanor that gives you an opportunity to react in a different way, that's not conscious decision, but subconscious decision. Horses are in a high demand this year because there's a trinity between horse, tiger, and dog, and it's very powerful team. If sometimes, as you know, horses are so productive and also so like work driven in a sense of like accomplishing the projects, right? But I've been sharing in the past examples, what is the true nature of the horse, when like we're planning to build a universe and horses already took the day off and get the truck and ready to go, just tell them what to do. Then this particular year that gives the dynamic, especially towards the May, June, July, it gives it that dynamic. You're gonna feel like, oh, I'm missing. Gonna probably once more feels like the first spring, because it's gonna energetically kind of transition is gonna be going so slow that you might feel that you need to catch up what you haven't done. Right. And that's why when the power of the horse is going to be like, get done. So plan accordingly. This is energetically, you're going to be in a good rhythm, to fulfill your ideas, to fulfill your kind of the dreams and inspirations. And that could be a very good beginning to something larger to come toward the end of the fall. Okay, so if last year, I think those who remember, I said, please, be a little bit mindful about June, July, right? And kind of be slowing down. But this is kind of reverses the opportunity when you are expected to, to be ready by end of the spring, be full kind of capacity of laying out and just execute, just like, have a kind of, when we think about work days, if we don't want to work in the weekends, we plan smartly our weekdays and just get in that rhythm, plan it out. For example, my son is going to be graduating in June, and I know that time is going to approach so quickly. So I'm going to start like planning out and preparing, not like I'm executing, but I'm going to be like, okay, as soon as that day or that time, we know how to shift. So horses should be very, very direct, okay? The practical, direct, and what's good, you bring the fruition to finish anything that tiger may initiate. As you remember, tiger has a tendency to also towards laziness. When tiger is not hungry anymore, right, and it's indulging, what it likes to do is just kind of lay low, relax until they digest. Horse is not so. Horse is going to add a right kind of momentum to tiger's initiative things. What could be accomplished. So, example. Since my year is the monkey here, right, and it's like almost like it's not a year for me to like sit like lay low. It's actually based on other astrological kind of settings. It's very auspicious here to even broaden the intention, like really kind of almost resetting my whole decade. And there's no way back to it. it's like really kind of holding the momentum right now. So when I have the energy of the horse available, especially in the May and June, guess what? I'm going to be preparing to executing those ideas. So it's not only just me for the monkey, but it's also could be available for anyone as with that momentum. Okay. So sheep or goat. So I know the year of ox was, I was saying, don't pretend that you are ox, right? Still lay down in the spring, but it's completely different. You need to prepare because you're going to be resetting and shaping the visual reality, in the following 3 years. Okay, the 2022 is the beginning, but 23 is going to be highly demanding of the sheep goat. So whatever you are, your creative juice, the creative ideas, the comfort, the practicality, because as we know, the aesthetics and the culture, it's going to be just in a verge, because what's happening, even so many businesses and so many ways we're transitioning in this world, like meeting on Zoom and having a virtual meetings, having the full-time, there's a new way of adapting. And I think the year of the 2023, when GOAT is going to be kind of, fully engaging its aspirations and ideas and beautifying, I think we're going to be finding so many more venues or resources that will be kind of a new era of something like collaborating between, what we do virtually and how we integrate that in a real life meetings. For example, people, I see we're already having this model, like hybrid models for even in some networking meetings, when people don't mind to, twice a month meeting, on Zoom, and only once in a quarter or once in a month to set up the live meetings, kind of like a networking meetings, because the people connection will be still important. So that is going to be better planned or influenced by somebody who has a goat or sheep character, because they know how. They not only make it practical, but they also were going to make, I would say, like aesthetically appealing, convenient, easy to use. So it might be a new app, so it might be a new way of communicating. Who knows? But that's what the sheep with the water element, with its way of being a good diplomat, a good negotiator might implement. I mentioned already a little bit about monkeys. Even though you might hear that it's diametrics, yes, it is in a compass. A monkey direction and the tiger direction are in the completely opposites. But this is a unique year that there's a lot of other 6 fortunate stars for monkeys that are very, very useful and give huge potential. One thing that comes in mind, and that's also could be not only for monkeys, but also for everyone, be very, very conscientious about resources, what you're doing in February and March. So sometimes tigers have tendency of spending quickly. Okay, that is not appropriate. I want you to be more mindful about resources, holding on to it. Okay, at least February and March. Anything that would like a risk taking, it's not timely. Okay. So discipline, being disciplined, and that is the highest requirement. If you have monkey in your hour or monkey as a year or day master, that is required this year. There's no mischievous jokes. I guess I still want to bring fun because January, we're still in the ox, right? But responsibility of our, being less sarcastic. Last year ox just didn't get it. What happens during the year of a tiger, you become a lunch. if if you joke wrong. So and it will be very difficult then to reset your image or reset your position in the community or in a in your circle. So monkeys, if you are there, so be disciplined, don't be too playful, don't press the buttons of the weaknesses of the tiger, and kind of use the chi on the serious side, use the monkey chi like following through very quickly, almost like because you are so resourceful, you're just finding the simple way of following through. One of my mottos when I use, how we say, you don't have to be perfect because perfect kills good enough. So monkeys can follow. Even sometimes we do have a tendency to, like roosters, being perfect. So this gives you the leeway. It's okay to be good enough, okay? Because that will give more progress, and there's always room for refinement. Okay, because it is a water tiger, it's not a metal tiger here. So water tiger leans towards the kind of we're adding a little bit more emotional state. It's not like we are in a part of the military regime, right? So this is something we can communicate. We find ways to express ourselves and using the water chi to adapt. Again, when it's too rigid, it might hold the vessel in a certain place. But this particular year, I think we are going to be a too small subjects to be noticeable. So we're going to be more as observers and reflectors of, what we are reflecting, what are we experiencing for this first, since 2020, 2021, 2022. And then when the year of the rabbit next year comes, so that will be the deep reflection and our outcome would be more profound. So roosters. I don't know if you know, but in a lot of ways, roosters and in Chinese folklore, many times we see actually image of crane and image of tigers together. Those are the kind of the ideal partnership, right? The crane kind of, there's a belief system, like when somebody passes, the crane when takes off, it takes the soul to the heavens. And then speaking of tigers, thousands of years ago, that was the only predator to the humans were the tigers. And when during the less than 100 years, tigers were completely almost killed to distinction. So the power of the tiger truly is in a spiritual realm, is our kind of in a heavenly realm. And that gives the rooster, kind of the rooster / crane tiger combination, gives you the rooster to think what feels good and has value. Because the roosters are very particular. The roosters are very, they like to have their, stand on a stage. They like to be announcers. They like to tell what to do. This particular year, you have to add a little more feeling to it. So say what feels good. That would be kind of the approach for the rooster. Not exactly what the rooster, or if I say that, it would be, no, but what feels good. After what we share, what resonates with you. Dogs, well, the dogs are, again, one of the three Trinity, right? The tiger, dog, and horse, the Trinity. So this is the very, very good year for a dog, the front runner, symbol of loyalty. So always loyal to its peers, loyal to its family, loyal to its traditions, loyal to, and the only thing that could kind of hurt dog or deplete dog is betray. Okay. So in what stands out in a dog's chart this year would be in the relationship area. So kind of a very serious and long-term commitments. It might be a little bit harder because tigers by nature, they could be perfectly fine living on their own. And so the companionship, it's good, or they also shift the partners quite often. So there's no really a quality of commitment at in an early state of early time of the stages of the relationship. Okay, so when the dogs are for dogs this particular year, as you know, there's tigers are independent. Like teacher Ming used to say, you know, tigers are not dogs, or cats are not dogs, right? The kind of tigers are our pets, like our cats are tigers. And so this is where a loyalty of the dog could be put on test. So dogs don't get too obsessed or too how to say, like, well, if you have to delay your wedding, then you should do this, as a dog should do that in a year of a tiger, just not to disappoint, not to, because there's a fluctuation of commitment. The energetical commitment might not be to the level the dog expects. Okay. And then the pigs. Well, what's beautiful about the pig character is the most tolerant sign of all 12. It can live and find harmony pretty much with every single sign, and that's pig. And we all can learn from pigs this year, especially to tolerate something that doesn't go through, tolerate the change, or tolerate the emotions. That tolerate is the word to kind of practice, almost define for yourself how much can you and what can you tolerate. So the level of how much tolerance you can project this year, it will be very important. So comfort value, how to be comfortable. So during the year of ox, it was a lot of comfort for the pigs, but now with the year of a tiger, it's more, how can I tolerate the things? So Ming used to draw the examples, for example, when somebody doesn't tolerate, slams the door, leaves the house, is like, I'm done with you, right? So what the pigs do is like, there's my dinner, I guess not today, I'll just heat up tomorrow, right? So it's just like there's no way for them to stop the tiger that is suddenly in flames. Okay, so emotional. So the ability for pigs to reason those situations or resonate with the chi of the tiger is more like, okay, well, there's the tomorrow, we can talk about tomorrow. So there's way more flexibility, and each of the signs could, sorry, see what happens? Have to be extremely extremely flexible, especially during the live call. So yeah, so that's what the pigs for this this particular year. Also regarding health, it's not about the years that if you built your endurance, and remember the year of ox was more about like putting the kind of a conduct in your how to stay healthy. You probably have the regimes like maybe working out on a regular basis, physically, etc. So that's can continuous. It was very important to like reset your what you exactly want to do. This particular year, the weakness is in not from the physical work, but from the more not only emotional, like a breakdown, an emotional breakdown, but also things related to infection. Okay, that's one thing that weakens tiger's immune system is through infection. That's actually could innocently could kill tiger. So when we have to be also mindful about that. And I know there's all the variances, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not buying into that. The rule number one for this particular year, to be fearless. Because fear, if you embody fear through the year, there's no progress. Okay, the year of a tiger gives you an opportunity to jump the stripes, to jump from from one line to other, to very rapidly, to really, because you've been holding that position whole last year, right? To when to leave. So there is a few more months to wait to project what you exactly want to implement and leave for that in April. Don't rush now. We can kind of I don't know. I don't see that there is a lot of ways of saying new resolutions and things like that. It's you might feel that year of ox is not exactly about the new resolution. Your new resolution was the year of ox, right? Because that was about a big reset, like making commitments to your ancestry, making commitments to your new way of acting out. It's not anymore like resetting something that you kind of committed to do this for, let's say, not exactly the rest of your life, but to the, overall how you want to maintain a tradition. So this is where the new resolution might not be appropriate. It's more like a fulfilling, like almost like adapting, fulfilling that you are energetically and spiritually in alignment with the practicality of your practice or of your intentions. So it is gonna be fast moving here, but not at the beginning. So I would like to invite everybody, go back to your root teachers, especially spiritual teachers. This is a year not to be compared. Don't try to compare yourself. Let's say, oh, I'm comparing to how do I practice or how do I pray. You doing that for you. And it's not going to be it's not a comparison to, who is a better meditator or less meditator. No, it's accountability that's within your heart. That's the spiritual realm of yourself. And so, yeah, be ready. Be ready. That opening your third eye. And there'll be more information, more precise, maybe more colorful information. I'll be in the presentations in February. So it depends on my schedule. You might find there's 2 women's circles that are, the 3 groups are full. I'm going to be also a speaker in March specifically about the Chinese New Year. But I promise, have not selected the day yet, but it's going to be towards the end of the February. I will be presenting about Chinese New Year to my Feng Shui community. There's a few more new things. I got involved, and I'm going to be also part of the PBN podcast, and it will be 10 shows through the year, and that's going to take a lot of time of kind of preparing for it. So you might notice that the monthly calls might be recorded, and then I will be opening for the questions and answers on a specific times of the Zoom call. So just to be prepared, there is a year to create and shift and to adjust. And I hope you can be as flexible as the water is when we pour in the glass and let it adapt. I always keep in mind to be at service at all times, because I love what I do. And as long as I can add value to your experience, I will be always at service for you. So I will stop the recording, but I'm open to any comments, questions. We went a little bit of the time, but that's okay. So there we go. That's me.